Good morning and welcome to Start the Day, the first Friday of the month, and actually 1st of October as well today. So it's rather wet.
It is feeling very October outside here today, but we thought the autumnal light and the trees, the leaves just beginning to sort of turn colour, go to golden browns around us here. You might enjoy that even if we've got to stand outside with an umbrella, and we hope it's not going to get too torrential. But we're reading this morning, as you'll know, with every start of the day, we're continuing a pattern of reading the Psalms. So if you're following those with us, then this morning we're on Psalm 71. We're not going to read all the verses, we'll read sort of two parts of this slightly longer psalm. But it's a psalm that's reflecting on God's faithfulness with confidence, and yet in the midst of quite difficult times. And the psalmist is really reflecting back on life. So this is someone writing almost certainly in old age and looking back and seeing God's faithfulness and taking hold of that promise that God is faithful for today. So we'll begin with verse 1 to 8 and then going to read verses 14 to 18. In you, Lord, I have taken refuge. Let me never be put to shame. In your righteousness, rescue me and deliver me. Turn your ear to me and save me. Be my rock of refuge, to which I can always go. Give the command to save me, for you are my rock and my fortress. Deliver me, my God, from the hand of the wicked, from the grasp of those who are evil and cruel. For you have been my hope, sovereign Lord, my confidence since my youth. From my birth, I have relied on you. You brought me forth from my mother's womb. I will ever praise you. I have become a sign to many, for you are my strong refuge. My mouth is filled with your praise, declaring your splendour all day long.
And then starting at verse 14. As for me, I shall always have hope. I will praise you more and more. My mouth will tell of your righteous deeds, of your saving acts all day long, though I know not how to relate them all. I will come and proclaim your mighty acts, sovereign Lord. I will proclaim your righteous deeds, yours alone. Since my youth, God, you have taught me. To this day I declare your marvellous deeds. Even when I am old and grey, do not forsake me, my God, till I declare your power to the next generation, your mighty acts to all who are to come.
What I love about this psalm is the way the psalmist, sort of reflecting back on life, brings the promise of God's faithfulness into the present moment, because they're still facing struggles and hard times. They're feeling pursued and attacked, and they're looking back and they're remembering right back since their youth how God has been present with them through many different struggles, and God is faithful. It's true to his character, and particularly the way they speak that truth into their life in verse 3. Be my rock of refuge, to which I can always go. And I love that reminder. I can always go to God, who is a rock of refuge.
And then when we were reading this last night, we were struck again in the later verses. There's a wonderful picture of how in our later years we've been given a special ministry to pass this truth on to the next generation. Here's the greatest gift we can bequeath to our children, grandchildren, and children that are in our care and we look after. And even when we're old and grey, and when it says in verse 18, when I'm old and grey, do not forsake me, my God, till I declare your power to the next generation. And we know we can't protect our young ones from the bad things that will happen in our world and the sad things that they will face. But we have an amazing thing that we know God, and we can pass that on to them. That know God is our refuge and their refuge, to which they can turn, which is a wonderful gift.
They can always go there to that place, yeah. And I just, with that in mind, I love the way the gospel is tucked away at different points through this psalm, and pointing us towards Jesus. There's that particular verse that comes later in the psalm where the psalmist says, though you made me see troubles many and bitter, you will restore my life again. from the depths of the earth, you will again bring me up. And maybe the biggest storm that any of us will face is the storm of death, or perhaps walking with someone who's dying towards death. And how do you do that? How can you turn? How is God a refuge, a rock in those times? Well, God is both with us, but also there is the hope of the resurrection, that He will bring us up from the depths, as He did, and declared that in Christ being risen from the dead. So what a hope that we can turn to this rock.
And we're going to finish this morning with a song. We thank you to Neil and Freya for bringing that to us in the band. So we're very grateful. And we're going to bring that as a prayer today. And whatever battles we may be facing in our lives, or people we know and loved ones that are going through difficult times, we can place our trust in God again for today. And we know He's already won the battle for us on the cross, and we can live under that and share in that victory with Him. So we're going to enjoy that.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful song.
And there've been some sad things that are happening in our world at the moment, and been in the news this past week, and some of us will have found those things deeply disturbing as well, and therefore maybe this psalm is a way to also to pray for other situations that in our world at the moment that are incredibly difficult and sad. Whatever you're doing this weekend, if you do get out into the stormy weather, may you be safe, but also may you know God's blessing.
When all I see is the battle, you see my victory. When all I see is a mountain, you see a mountain move. And as I walk through the shadow, your love surrounds me. There's nothing to fear now, or I'm safe with you. So when I fight on my knees with my hands lifted high. Oh God, the battle belongs to you. Every fear I lay at your feet. Oh, I sing through the night. Oh God, the battle belongs to you. And if you fall for me, who can be against me? For Jesus, there's nothing impossible. Nothing can stand against the power of our God. Shine in the shadows, you in every battle. Nothing can stand against the power of our God. An almighty fortress, oh, you go before us. Nothing can stand against the power of